Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Deez, this is my workshop. Today there's something bugging me and I want to get it fixed. It's got to do with my Gerstner stand. This thing I built for the red toolbox. If you remember from some of my older videos, that's what I built this stand for, so that I could slide my surface plate underneath and a nice little place for it to store. Since I built that, I then found a Gerstner. Well, I'm going to use the Gerstner. I love that thing. However, I need some improvements. This is bugging me. I think over time it may cause some issues where this thing might warp. So let me bring you down here for a little bit of a closer look. I just don't like this overhang here. I got it hanging over here as well. And I think we can extend my stand and then have a little bit of extra storage underneath in order to slide, who knows what. But it will support the full length of this box. And what I'm a little worried about is this thing may be warping. I don't think it will, because most of the bottom is supported, but I think that we can improve that. So today's project is we're going to add an annex. We're going to add an extension onto this mounting plate. I need about 5 inches in order to cover, but it can certainly be bigger. So we got 3 inches overhang over here, and we have about 2 inches here, and so at least 5 inches would cover it. But I've got some other wood and materials. I'm going to use this piece of plywood, same thickness, 3/4 inch. We'll probably just use this whole thing. I need to square this up on the table saw, and then we'll basically create the same type of thing over here, except we'll have plenty of room, and then we'll have some more storage underneath, and then we can slide the base over as far as we need to. Now, the Gerstner can't go any farther left because I've got my DRO stand, and that needs to clear. So the Gerstner is going to stay put. However, we can bring this slide over as far as we need to and support this entire thing with the extra part. So let's get started with that project today. I think it'll be a nice improvement. We got a few things that we need to do before we really get started. We're gonna have to square up this piece of wood. This is a scrap piece of wood that I had. We'll have to cut our lengths on the board here on the bottom so we can have our 2 legs for the stand and then something on the back. And then we just need to get this off of the existing. That way we can really work with what we're dealing with here. So I think what we're gonna do is kind of clean some of this up first, move some of this stuff out of the way. Easy enough, but I'm going to do the same design. Basically, we have a back, the 2 sides, and then the front will be open, and we can slide things in and out underneath it and have a little more storage underneath, and it will carry the full weight of my Gerstner. I think what we need to do is measure the total depth, because we're going to need to cut that. We are right at 15 inches, so 14 7/8. So there is a factory edge here. Need to clean that up. Got some junk on it. Make sure that's square. I believe that's a square edge. That's going to be fine. But I do need to trim these edges up. So we need 14. I'm going to go ahead and make it 15 inches. If this piece is just a 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch or whatever deeper, that's fine. So to make it easy, I'm going to make this 15 inches long, and that's going to be our piece. So 15 by however wide this is. But we'll have to trim up the edges. So let's measure out 15. think what we'll need to do, we need to square out these edges first, and then we'll mark our length, and we'll get this piece cut first. Okay, we have all of our parts cut out. This is a simple upgrade, but it's going to be, I think it's going to be a nice one. I don't think I'm going to attach this to this other base. That way I can move things around a little easier, but the idea is to mock this up here. Let's see how we're looking. These parts will go like that. And then of course this will go on top like that. There we go. I think that's going to work out nicely. So that's going to give me 8.5, almost 9 inches of more support space. This is all flush now. I think it's going to work out really good. And now I'm going to have a lot of storage underneath here for whatever I need to put in. So the next thing we need to do is glue, drill, screw this thing together, and then we're going to paint this. I'm going to put another coat of paint on here, but I'm going to use enamel. It'll take several weeks to really dry the way that I want, but since I've got this all taken apart, I'm going to take the opportunity to really clean this up and put some paint on here. I didn't let it dry quite long enough the last time, so that's what we're going to do with this next paint job. Let's get this thing assembled. Well, that's the mock-up. Pretty simple. Let's get got all our screws that we need. We're going to pre-drill. Take this plastic off of here. Need that. there we go. We got this thing built. Very simple project, but this is going to be, I think, a lot better for that Gerstner. This will sit back here wherever I want it, and we'll be able to slide our granite surface plate back underneath here, and we can put our Gerstner up here, and I'll still have some extra storage over here. I think what I'm going to do, because I'm about out of this spray paint, it's almond gloss, that's what I used over here. I'm going to use this gloss canvas white. It's enamel. It ought to bond to all of that, but before I open this up and start using this, I'm going to use up, there's not much left, I'm going to use the rest of this, and I'm going to use primer first, just to kind of, seal in that wood a little bit before I start painting it. So, otherwise, that's going to be the next step. We're going to go and prime this thing, paint it, and get the rest of this painted, get the shop back in order. I don't know how much is left. You'll never see this, but I kind of want it to match a little bit. Get these sides here done. Maybe even the bottom, because you'll never see that either. Let that dry. Might be able to use a little bit more on the back side where you won't see it, but I just wanted to get the underside, use this up. Let's get this. I don't think there's any paint left, but if there is, we'll use it up on the back. Doggone. It's a little tacky underneath, but I think in the interest of getting some paint on here, I'm going to go ahead and set it down, and we'll come back and finish up the bottoms or whatever else we want later. Again, these are the parts that will slide anyway. That's not so big. I just want these top surfaces to be nice and durable and look a lot better. So we have our main unit and the annex, I'm going to call it. We want to kind of set this down let's start over here on the top. I'm sure this color is going to be different, so we'll just have to probably have to paint the whole thing so it matches. But I got lots of this enamel paint, so I want to use it. It's whiter, so we'll have to paint the whole thing, but for now let's get some paint on here. On the top, this stuff takes a while to dry. So I should say, my wife just came out, saw me painting this with a chip brush, and she did not approve. I said, it's a shop, it'll be fine. She said, if you're gonna do it right. I said, well, this is a workshop. This is right. Let me know your thoughts. Well, everybody, we're going to finish this upgraded stand for the Gerstner Toolbox project that I've been working on. It's really an expansion to the existing shelf that I had, but we went ahead and repainted it, improved it, made it a little bit nicer. Everything's dry, but the thing about enamel paint is it takes a long time to cure. You know, you can kind of indent it, imprint it. I'm kind of getting in a hurry. I really should just let this sit for a full week or long. Well, it's already been a week, but or longer, because when I put the Gerstner on here, it's going to leave, you know, marks into the paint. So I think what I'm going to do, because I'm ready to get on with some other projects, I want to finish this up. I'm going to cut out a piece of cardboard so that this can sit on the between the cardboard and the paint. Hopefully that'll keep this from, it might end in a little, that I'm not worried about, but it'll keep it from sticking, I hope. I don't want to get paint on the Gerstner after it sits there for a long time. So we're going to cut out a piece of cardboard. We're going to get all this moved over here. I've kind of got ahead of myself. The last clip you saw was me painting and everything, but you know, it's only as fun as watching paint dry, right? You know, painting's painting. So I cleaned all that up, and now we're going to go ahead and finish this up. Well, there we go. This is going to be the cardboard. We're going to put it underneath the Gerstner. This will be up here. And hopefully we can slide it around, get it where we need it to be. And that'll be a nice layer between the two. Well, we need to lighten this thing up first. I don't want to try to lift this thing, get it on the cardboard. I've done that before and everything shifts around. So we're going to try to make this easier. We're going to take all the drawers out with all the stuff and then we're going to move it over. I think that'll be a lot better of a plan. First thing we'll do is get the drawers out. Stuff starts getting kind of heavy after a while. Excuse me, this is going to be loud. This one sticks. I need to fix that. Huh. That's interesting. So I don't know where this fell out of. Maybe this is a winning ticket. Super Lotto Auto Lotto. I don't recall from where I'm at that I don't remember Super Lotto, but this is from 1988. That's interesting. Super Lotto. Somebody had quite a few numbers. $20 worth back then. So if they had won, they're probably kicking themselves because they couldn't find their ticket. I should probably look that up. Maybe I just made $1 million. Interesting what you'll find in these old toolboxes. I had everything out of there. I'm surprised I didn't find that before. Interesting. Take some of this heavy stuff out of the top. That's a lot lighter. I'm gonna sweep this out, vacuum it out while I have this all taken apart. Got everything up. Got a cardboard up here. Let's put this up here. We'll have to move things around, I think. Let's see. Oh, for sure. Way over. Let's see. So the whole point of this was so that the base of this is covered. So I've got this way over. I thought I'd be able to maximize space over here, but I think I need to bring it over. I mean, I can't really come any farther than this because of this needs to swing. So let's try moving it to there. Actually, let's go there. So this is where it needs to be. Yep. So the idea is to maximize my space here, but capture that whole thing. And so we need to bring this over, and then we'll come over to roughly there, which is fine. This will come over. It's fine. This will go here, but slide back. This will go here. That's a piece of history with this thing, silly as it might be. We're going to leave that here on the bottom. It was up here, I'm going to leave it up here. Yeah, put it on the bottom. Quick update on the lottery ticket. I did a little bit of research on it, because why not? So I'm going to keep that lottery ticket with the Gerstner, because it was just a little bit of history from it. But whoever had this ticket, if I looked a little closer, this is actually a photocopy. What that tells me is this is probably a group ticket because there's $20 worth. This was back several years ago, and the equivalent of $20 from, I think this was in 1988, is $53 today. And I'm pretty sure this was Super Lotto Auto Lotto. This is from Ohio. So this Gerstner, which I believe Gerstner is in Ohio, but this Gerstner lived in Ohio for a while, and somehow this photocopy of this lottery ticket survived and came along with it. I don't believe it was a winner, but it's somehow been stuck inside this this box for a long time, so I'm going to keep it with it. And it's just an interesting piece of history. But from what I can tell, this thing, I'm pretty sure Gerstner's in Ohio, and this thing lived in Ohio. Whoever had it probably worked in a machine shop. I'm guessing this was a machine shop shared ticket with the guys in the factory, probably saying, I'm ready to retire. Didn't work out for him this time. But anyway, I wanted to give you an update on that, that there is a little bit more to this ticket, and we did a little research. Well, there you go, folks. We have got a updated platform to put the Gerstner on. I think it's going to be a lot more solid. It seemed like a little thing, but I just didn't like the ends overhanging on the old original stand that I had made for it. We still have our home for our granite surface plate. We still have our Gerstner completely supported, and now we have a little bit extra storage underneath here that we didn't have before. We kind of sacrificed a little space over here, but not really, not a whole lot. This was overhanging anyway, so I couldn't really use that space. So it's gonna be just fine. And everything went back in. I did, as a little side note, if you didn't catch it before, I found an old lottery ticket in here. I'll look it up. I'm sure it's long past due, but it's kind of interesting piece of history. So I'm going to leave that in here with the machine, with the box. But one thing I had was one of these drawers. I think over time, some of these mechanisms here and the bracketry has drooped just ever so slightly. I think there's a bit of a bow in it. I'm hesitant to try to take it out. I feel like I'm going to do more damage than I'm going to fix. But what I didn't like was using this drawer because it squeaked terrible pulling it out. So earlier, if you heard that squeak when I was pulling that out of there, that's what I'm talking about. So a little bit of paraffin wax to the rescue, and now this thing slides in and out without that god-awful scream. I just put a little on the back. Now I can use this drawer for other things. Worked out real nice. Everything's back where it needs to be. This thing's back up here on the bench, out of the way, and I can get started on some more projects. So, hope you enjoyed just a little bit of shop upgrades here in this video, and let's get on to that next project. Thanks for watching, everybody.